Bill Maher and Aaron Rodgers. I like their conversation. I wish I was sitting there. Let's eavesdrop, shall we?
Sold people these opioids and killed hundreds of thousands of people. Yes, evil. But somehow with COVID, they always have our best interests at heart. And of course, there's not much they could say about that because it just doesn't make sense.
It's the truth, though.
It is the truth.
That's my problem with society today is why does everything have to be so fucking bipartisan? Like, every issue is not a partisan issue. There's right and there's wrong. There's things that make sense and things that don't make sense.
Medicine.
You don't have to fucking toe the line on what your
right.
party's saying to, and that's the only stance you can take, right? Can you not rationally have a conversation about things that make sense and be able to not be swayed by whether you vote red or blue?
Not in America anymore. No, you can't. And to me, the ultimate issue that should not be political.
Bill, I get your point. I think you're right. I mean, it's clear, right? But see, that's the thing. We need to stop saying they, them, or left, right. We need to stop. It shouldn't even be in a ever. It should stop being written that way. It should stop being spoken that way. I don't understand how people don't even get tired of also going because the left, because the right. I mean, and I guess people, especially in news or writers and articles, like all these people, whether I follow them on YouTube or their newspaper, and then they always have to add these inflammatory adjectives, insulting, hyperbolic. Just what's your problem? What you got here? That's it. Like, hey, I think this. What do you think? Not, like you said, not in America. Why? Why, Bill? Why? We can talk. We can stand up.
The ultimate, not in America anymore. No.
Not in America. No, not anymore. Why, Bill? Yes, you can. So buying into the thought, it's like basically the opposition has won. The opposition is anybody telling you what to do, and then you have to do what they want you to do. So like one loses, one wins, right? Like, okay, they get their way and you don't get your way. Why? What? No. I don't think he should have said that. Even if it is true, because it appears to be true, then what are we doing then? How's it going to change if we keep saying that even? We're buying into it.
To not be swayed.
I hope I made myself clear, guys. Let me see. One more time.
Toe the line on what your party's saying to, and that's the only stance you can take, right? Can you not rationally have a conversation about things that make sense and be able to not be swayed by whether you vote red or blue?
Not in America anymore. No, you can't. And to me, the ultimate issue that should not be political or partisan is medicine.
Health. Yeah.
Right.
What is more personal than what you do you to how you want to treat your body. Now, if the argument is, well, if you don't do our pharmaceutical answer, then you're going to risk other people's lives. First of all, that's not true. That's a red herring argument. I mean, maybe that's true with other things at other times, or with this before they knew that the vaccine does not prevent infection and does not prevent transferal. So now that we know it doesn't do either one of those things, it shouldn't matter what I do.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Right.
So that's first. But beyond that, what could be more personal than how I choose to treat my body? I mean, like Djokovic can't play. It's so annoying to me. I'm watching the U.S. Open now.
Yeah, last night, Serena.
Oh, I didn't see. She won?
She lost last night.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. I don't watch
Oh,
tennis.
well.
But the best fucking player in the men's side can't play.
And
one of the most fit guys in the fucking world.
That's the point.
Who's had COVID at least once, if not twice.
Can't
fucking come to New York.
Is a complete compendium of what a Potemkin village, this whole arsenal of nonsense they've thrown at this disease is.
You know what's even worse than that, though? Kyrie Irving attended a basketball game courtside, but couldn't play for his team.
Right.
How is that fucking possible?
Well, also,
he attended a basketball game and got to watch it in the stands, but couldn't fucking play on his team because he wasn't vaxxed?
I mean,
guys, right? Right? And then we're not supposed to say things like Nazi Germany, the Star of David. We're not supposed to say any of these things. So it doesn't even matter like whose side, what do you agree or disagree with, right? It's the fact that everything's being pushed. The dominance right now is an agenda between the big tech companies, listening to a handful of people and making the whole world have to obey and act and think and talk the same way. Do you understand how damaging that is for all of humanity. I can speak from my own experience of how many times people want to change me throughout the years. Every time I tried to do what they wanted me to do just because I wanted them to get off my back, right? Like get off my back shit. Just to get some peace in my life. Okay, I'll do what you want. Guess what happened? Not only was I unhappy, miserable, and I couldn't fake the funk because I was not being me and I wasn't standing true to my real beliefs, they didn't like me either. They wanted the old Olga back. Every single time. I understand the need for the ego to want to have control. And especially if you feel vulnerable and gullible, you know what I'm saying? And you're insecure and maybe your parents didn't raise you right. Maybe your schools didn't teach you shit. Because that's what it comes down to. They're lost in the sauce. Everybody's fucking lost in the sauce. Constantly. We don't know shit on the science side. One is based on faith and we don't really have a lot of proof supposedly, right? We can't really prove it. That's a whole different discussion for me because I can prove it. I believe I can. Now, the science is always wrong. It's always evolving. It's always changing. It's always growing. How's that going to be your religion? This is ridiculous at this point. And I mean, Bill Maher, I mean, you're right. I get where you're coming from. You know, what he just said about, no, you can't do that in America. But it's done, dude. We've beaten the dead horse. It's over. We got to stop saying that if anything's going to change. And the thing is, we have to. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. Because at this point, people are just addicted to the opposition, just like rooting for two different, sports teams. And that's it. And everyone's getting up looking for more ammunition to continue the argument because they don't have a fucking life. Like, get laid, have a farm, grow something, do something that benefits you and all of humanity. That's what I'm getting at. All this politics, this is all power tripping, putting people down. Like what he said about the sports and how this guy couldn't watch the game.
It makes sense. That's
Why?
And got to watch it in the stands, but couldn't fucking play on his team because he wasn't vaxxed?
But gets to watch it on the stands. How is this not Nazi Germany or just, I mean, come on, even like going all the way back to the gladiators, going after the Christians. What? And we're going to call this progressive. If you think you're progressive and you stand in progressiveness and you are saying you're left, you're ignorant. Seriously. And in fact, what have you done? And where have you seen? Have you gone to other countries and lived there for a couple months? Cuba, China? I'm just saying, to name a few. But I get it. Everybody wants to belong. So if there's a team and which one do I belong to? So then everybody who's independent, anybody who's a real badass, a real leader, you don't take sides. You don't have a team. You are your team. You get what I'm saying? So then we need to have a whole team of leaders. Can you imagine? I think somebody else said this in the comments. I think it was last week about Olga Spartan 300. And you know what? It just came to me. I can see that. I can feel that in me as I'm saying this over and over again. Yeah, you get 300 real leaders and we'll obliterate this. Bill Maher, you mark my words, we're coming. And yeah, there's got to be a league of real life, not Marvel. And look what they're doing to Marvel these days.
I mean,
let me finish
make
this
it
clip.
make sense. That's all I'm saying. Make it make sense.
Get your coffee, get your drink, get your popcorn.
You can't.
He also was able to play on the road with his team.
Eventually.
No. From the beginning.
Yeah,
at the end, he was able to play at home.
But they wouldn't let him play.
No, not at home.
No, they wouldn't. He wouldn't play.
Oh, right. But that was the team's decision.
Yeah.
But they changed. First, he couldn't. First, they said.
Science changed, I'm sure.
What?
Science changed.
Not that science. But no, at first he could not play, or they wouldn't.
They couldn't play at home, yeah, or in Canada.
The rule was he couldn't play at home, but he could play on the road. But the team said, if we can't play one place, we don't want you anywhere. Right. Then they changed and said, okay, you know what? We're not doing so good. Why don't you play on the road games?
Yeah.
But at the same time, people who were not vaccinated on other teams could somehow play in his arena. I think Bradley Beal of the Wizards was not vaccinated and played. It was as stupid as it is to sit at a restaurant and take your mask off and then put it on when you stand up, as if the virus only attacks you when you're standing.
See, we can't just keep talking about it. We have to just say, no, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm telling you, I went to the doctor, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or so, or a month ago. And I asked, and I was like, this is ridiculous. You're a physician. And they were like, I agree with you, Olga. I mean, it was not the only doctor. I've asked several in the past year or two, and they all agree with me. And they're telling me that they have to do it or they lose their job. You get that? You get that. Go ahead. I dare you to go ask your doctor. So who's their boss? Who's managing those hospitals, forcing them? Okay? So it's one guy telling all the hospitals all around the world, keep it up, keep it up. If it doesn't work, we got to make sure they stay obedient. Guys, have you watched that movie from the 80s, They Live? Please, if you haven't watched it. And if you have, maybe rewatch it. We knew that shit back then. That movie came out because it was already very clear, the hypnosis of media all around us. Because again, we got to keep talking about this shit. You know what I mean?